Khabib said it himself. He's like, Ian Garry is a real problem for us. This guy poses a serious threat. Ian Garry's 6'3", and he's so good at his lateral movement. He's so good at fighting at his range, taking on Islam Makhachev.
Ian Garry definitely has a chance also on his side to do it. He's a very good striker. He's very long. He's a great grappler as well. But Islam Makhachev is, stylistically, he's a freaking nightmare to fight for anyone. He's right now the best pound for pound on the planet.
Yeah, I agree. We got a huge welterweight fight. So
it's almost like Islam is challenging his ego. When you hear a guy like Garry speak about a specific round, finding happiness in that, not necessarily becoming the champion. Obviously, Ian Garry is going to be happy to become the UFC champion, but wanting to do it in a certain round. But then Islam saying he likes to run, almost challenging his ego, almost trying to goad Garry into fighting him the type of fight that would ultimately suit Islam better. When you look within this matchup, look, man, I know a lot of people have a lot of things to say about Ian Garry. It's a hard fight for Ian Garry. It's a hard fight for Islam Makhachev. I believe that this fight will be determined by what happens in the beginning of the fight. If Garry is able to stay upright for a first round, it could be a long night for Islam. But if Islam is able to secure takedowns early or get close to Ian Garry, I believe that then the fight will start to sway in his side.
My defense and my fight IQ is second to none in this game. The more fights I have, the more people are going to understand and respect it. And I think that's why he's saying all these things, is he knows this is a tricky fight. And when he goes to bed and just before he's about to close his eyes, he goes, this is going to be tougher than I think. And he can say what he wants to the camera, but to himself, internally within his team, they don't have someone that emulates my style. They don't have someone with these eyes. These are what makes this fight different.
Ian Machado Garry taking on Islam Makhachev. $10,000, where are you putting it?
If I'm just thinking rational, it favors Makhachev. But Ian Garry definitely has the chance. He's a very good striker. He's very long. But Islam Makhachev, stylistically, is a freaking nightmare. I think right now the best pound for pound on the planet.
Islam was just landing these brutal calf kicks on everyone, and it became a narrative of the fight. I think he landed 10 for 10 calf kicks. What was your reaction as you saw those calf kicks come through? And I guess we saw reduced movement from Jack, and he looked like he was uncomfortable. Is that the key reason that was happening, in your opinion, those calf kicks sort of taking impact a little bit into the fight?
Yeah, I think they definitely, obviously, I don't know if you've ever been kicked in the calf, but it's not
terrible.
It's not a very fun experience. But
I mean, Israel redid the whole game just based off calf kicks, right? Like we saw the impact it have,
So the game plan was to be further away than that range, probably, and then switching stances a lot. And I think when the lead leg gets compromised early, and it kind of hurt the game plan a little bit in terms of stance switching and stuff like that. So I commend them on their game planning against us. They'd clearly studied a lot of tape and looked at. They had an answer for the head-hands defense, with the head kicks and stuff like that.
When two of the greatest champions in UFC history sit down and agree that a massive upset is coming, the combat sports world does not get to look away. Georgia's St-Pierre and Daniel Cormier are not personalities who built their reputations on bold predictions designed to chase clicks or manufacture controversy. They built their reputations inside the cage, against the best opponents of their respective generations, winning titles and defending them under pressure that most fighters never experience even once in their careers. So when GSP and DC align on a final prediction for Islam Makhachev versus Ian Machado Garry at UFC 330, and that prediction points directly toward one of the biggest upsets the lightweight division has ever seen, it creates a moment that the entire MMA community has to take seriously.
According to the odds, I think it favors Makhachev, but Ian Garry definitely has all the chance also on his side to do it. He's a very good striker. He's very long. He's great a great grappler as well. But he need, I think, to find a way to keep the fight standing, and to use his style to his own advantage. But Islam Makhachev is, stylistically, he's a freaking nightmare to fight for anyone. He's, I think, right now the best pound for pound on the planet.
When you hear a guy like Garry speak about a specific round, finding happiness in that, not necessarily becoming the champion. Obviously, Ian Garry is going to be happy to become the UFC champion. but wanting to do it in a certain round. But then Islam saying he likes to run, almost challenging his ego, almost trying to goad Garry into fighting him the type of fight that would ultimately suit Islam better.
Everybody works hard, but I think the competition inside the gym, you know, we have, like, I know everybody have good gym, good coaches, but no much people have sparring partners like us. We have, like, our gym, maybe 70 people, 80 people, all, like, you know, hard to work, you know, not some, it's all professional fighters, like 60, 70 people, and everybody want to show you something, you know, to be like, to beat Islam. They want to beat Umar because they are UFC fighters. You know, the competition inside is very hard. When Khabib with us in the camp, you don't have too much options, you know. Today, honestly, we start to, like, with the team, we start one guys to go, Khabib, maybe tomorrow sparring, we can some rest, some rest. Okay, you just go to the light and do like 30 minutes running. Okay, like easy training, you know. But when we came to the gym, 12 rounds is the boxing bags, and after everybody run, it's not easy, you know. And tomorrow, 10 in the morning, we have sparring. This guy, he don't know is other way. Just one way, hard work.
In the other hand, I am more impressed with Islam's complete game, with his striking, with his head kick knockouts, with his boxing, with his wrestling that is a replica of Khabib with striking. So I think Khabib's a better wrestler and grappler, but I think Islam is a better complete fighter, a better MMA fighter. Khabib dominated everybody without a question, and I think had he wanted to, he would have been doing that even across multiple divisions if he wanted to. He decided to retire, props to him. I think it's the smartest thing he could have done. He didn't need the money anymore. He didn't need
The weight of this prediction does not come from the words themselves. It comes from who is delivering them. Georges St-Pierre spent years as the most technically precise champion the welterweight division has ever produced. He understands matchup dynamics at a level that goes beyond surface analysis because he has lived those dynamics in competition. He knows what it means to face a stylistically awkward opponent who does not fit the template you have been preparing for. He knows how quickly a fight can shift when a challenger brings tools the champion has not fully accounted for. And he knows, perhaps better than anyone, that dominance built over time does not make a champion immune to the specific fighter who arrives with the right combination of attributes at the right moment. Daniel Cormier brings a different but equally valuable perspective. He is a former two-division champion who has also spent years as one of the most respected analysts in the sport. He watches fights with the eyes of someone who has felt the pressure of championship combat from the inside, and he evaluates matchups with a technical depth that comes from that lived experience. For Cormier to look at Islam versus Garry and land on an upset prediction is not a casual observation. It is the conclusion of someone who has studied both fighters carefully and arrived at a place that surprised even himself. So what are they seeing? What is the analytical foundation underneath a prediction this bold about a champion as dominant as Islam Makhachev? The answer begins with Ian Machado Garry's striking system, and specifically with the way it creates problems that Islam's grappling-first approach has not fully encountered at championship level. Garry is built to fight long. His frame, his footwork, and his timing work together to keep opponents in a zone where his strikes land with authority and theirs fall short. The left hand is the headline weapon, carrying legitimate finishing power that has already proven itself against credible opposition. But what makes Garry genuinely dangerous in this specific matchup is not just the weapon itself, it is the delivery system surrounding it. He moves laterally, he angles off after combinations. He denies the kind of linear forward progress that Islam's grappling entries require to be effective. Every step Islam takes toward Garry is a step into a carefully constructed trap that Garry has been setting his entire professional career.
Well, I mean, you know, we always talk about, you know, Anderson Silva, Georges St-Pierre, Khabib, and we tend to forget about guys like Islam. They just kind of sneak under the radar quietly and create this aura about them. And then when you really dissect that, what it is, and you go, wow, it's pretty impressive. It's really impressive. And, you know, and I'm willing to say that his strength of schedule coming up was even pretty deep, was stacked, more so than other guys. You know, so when you talk about not only just like his, you know, his winning streak, like not just his title run, but his winning streak. Like when you talk about guys like, you know, he was just smashing really good guys easily on the way up. Like Thiago Moises. Like Thiago Moises at that time, like it's easy to look at where Thiago is today, but at that time, Thiago Moises was really good. And like a lot of the guys that he was beating on the way up were in their primes, and he made it look easy.
Analysts within the combat sports community have pointed out that the fighters who have forced Islam to work the hardest in his title reign share a specific quality. They made the distance uncomfortable rather than surrendering it. They forced Islam to earn every inch of the approach rather than allowing him to close the gap freely and implement his system at will. Garry does not just have the capacity to make that distance uncomfortable. He weaponizes it in a way that is more developed and more dangerous than any opponent Islam has previously faced in a championship setting. GSP's perspective on this kind of stylistic collision carries particular credibility because he navigated similar challenges throughout his own championship run. He faced opponents who brought specific tools designed to disrupt his system, and he understood that the margin between winning those fights comfortably and losing them was often smaller than the record suggested. What he appears to recognize in Garry is a challenger whose specific attributes create a margin that is genuinely tight enough that the upset he is predicting is not a fantasy but a realistic outcome supported by the tactical reality of the matchup. Several respected voices have noted that the combination of GSP and DC arriving at the same conclusion from different analytical directions makes the prediction more significant than if either had made it alone. When a technical strategist and a pressure-based power grappler who became a world champion both see the same pathway to victory for the challenger, it suggests that pathway is real rather than theoretical. It suggests the stylistic logic underneath the upset prediction holds up under scrutiny from multiple frameworks of analysis. Islam's case for retaining the title remains compelling, and it must be stated honestly. He is not a champion who has succeeded on one-dimensional dominance. His striking has evolved into a genuine threat. His defensive awareness is sharp. His cardio across 5 championship rounds has never been seriously questioned. And his ability to adapt mid-fight, to recognize what is not working and change his approach without losing composure, is one of the defining qualities of his entire reign. A fighter with those attributes does not simply fold because a challenger brings a difficult stylistic puzzle. But here is the layer of this prediction that gives it its real power. GSP and Cormier are not suggesting that Islam folds. They are suggesting that Garry's specific combination of size, timing, power, and movement creates a scenario where even Islam's best qualities may not be enough to prevent something dramatic from happening. The upset they are predicting is not built on Islam having a bad night. It is built on Garry having the tools to beat him on his best night. That distinction is what makes this prediction genuinely alarming for everyone who assumed UFC 330's main event was a formality. The general sentiment among professionals who have followed this fight's build-up closely is that the prediction from GSP and DC has shifted something in how the broader combat sports community is discussing this fight. Before those voices weighed in, the mainstream conversation treated Garry as a live underdog, but ultimately a significant one. After those voices weighed in, the conversation started asking a different question, not whether Garry can win, but how exactly he wins and what that victory looks like when it happens. That shift in framing matters because it reflects a genuine change in how serious analytical minds are processing the available evidence. For Islam, the existence of this prediction is fuel. Champions of his competitive makeup do not get demoralized by outside doubt. They get sharper, they get more focused, they walk into the cage with the memory of every prediction made against them burning quietly behind their preparation. That competitive response to doubt has been a feature of Islam's championship psychology throughout his run, and it would be naive to assume UFC 330 is any different. For Garry, the validation that comes from fighters of this stature predicting his victory is a double-edged sword. It confirms what he has been saying about himself, but it also adds the weight of external expectation to what was already the highest pressure moment of his career. Delivering on a prediction from GSP and DC is a different challenge than simply believing in yourself. The entire combat sports world will now be watching to see whether the upset these legends are forecasting actually materializes inside that octagon. The prediction here, built carefully on everything available, is that Islam finds a way to navigate the storm and retain his title. But the confidence behind that prediction has never been lower heading into any of his title defenses, and the fact that two of the greatest champions this sport has ever produced are pointing in the other direction means that confidence needs to be held carefully rather than stated loudly. So here is the question for you right now. Does the combined prediction of GSP and Daniel Cormier change how you see see this fight? And do you now believe that Ian Machado Garry is going to walk out of UFC 330 as the new lightweight champion of the world? Drop your final prediction in the comments. This is one of the most genuinely divided fight week conversations the lightweight division has ever produced, and your voice belongs in it. And if you want every major prediction, every GOAT-level reaction, and every story that matters in combat sports covered at this depth, subscribe now, because we are here every single day and we never miss a thing.